Hello and welcome to AWS Made Easy. This is the show where we talk about all things AWS, FinOps, cost optimization, generative AI. My name is Stephen Barr.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rahul Subramaniam, and welcome to a new show.
We have reInvent just around the corner. So I think
right,
this show,
right next week. Really, really exciting.
yeah, it's going to be a very busy AI-focused reInvent. I think we're all expecting that. The theme from AWS is agentic AI. And that will be the overarching theme of everything. I think we're going to see a lot of agent core, a lot of not just their fundamentals, right? Bedrock that was announced, that's several years old at this point, but now what can you build on top of it to make AI deployments? How do you deploy agents and have authentication? All the stuff that we need for enterprise. Is that your read on it?
I think so. I've been trying to look through the endless barrage of announcements that have been coming in every single day over the last couple of weeks. They all seem to be little, peripheral announcements. So I think they're reserving everything AI and agentic for reInvent next week. So I'm pretty excited. So if I just operate by elimination, I think agentic AI kind of wins the candidates for what we're likely to see next week.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of agent core related announcements and also, I guess, maybe more flexibility in how you use some of the models.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we'll get OpenAI models.
Maybe. Though I actually feel like there might be more work being done in announcing some of. I think if I were to think about surprises that it's not kind of front and center for me, they might be announcing their new chips for training. They might be announcing new mechanisms and easier fine tuning of existing models, because a lot of open source. I think the community is kind of ready now to actually get into real world training for open source models and fine tuning them. They might even go ahead and announce their own new model as well. So maybe a new version of Nova or something like that.
That'd be neat.
Which is
Nova 2.0.
Yeah. So it might be a collection of those things and maybe a set of tools that makes it a lot easier to build agents, deploy agents, and kind of ride the architecture wave that AWS has already established without the friction. So I'm hoping that there are, we've recently seen that AWS is capable of delivering products and experiences or user experiences that are well polished and super simple to get started with. I hope that some of these tools that come up in this reInvent kind of follow that pattern.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. I'm really excited for it. There's been, in the general AI world, some really neat announcements. Particularly, I think we're all excited about. Sorry, AWS, but Gemini 3. This is that's been really a pleasant experience to use, and of course, the new anti-gravity IDE from Google that came along with that. Have you been using that?
I have, and in fact, the capabilities of Gemini 3 are actually astounding, particularly when it comes to diagramming and creating images and stuff like that with Nano Banana that came with it. Pretty impressed with what it's actually able to do right now.
Yeah. In fact, in our other show, on the AI First show, we're very quickly going to be releasing a Gemini model evaluation. And one of the things we did was we built a Angry Birds-like game just to simulate projectile motion with the catapult. Mm-hmm. And in one prompt of give me an Angry Birds style game so I can learn physics with a catapult, it not only made the game, but it embedded another AI inside of it, which was an agent to analyzed the trajectory, and it said things like, wow, you started with a very steep angle and a lot of initial velocity, and that's why you got the parabola in this shape. And if you wanted to maximize it, try a shallower angle, and then your initial velocity is this. It was really good.
Oh, really cool. I
Surprising.
can't wait to see it.
Yeah, well, I'll have this. That'll be in our other show. I'll put the link in the show notes. It's for the AI first show that is less AWS focused and more just general AI focused on how to use AI in your business in real world, get real world use cases. Well, the other model, I want to share this one. This was on AWS. Let me put this up on screen. One of the fun share this tab here. Opus 4.5 now in Amazon Bedrock. This came out just 2 days ago.
Correct. And Opus has actually almost been as good as Gemini 3 in my initial testing. I haven't tested it extensively, but a lot of its capability, its thinking abilities are quite impressive. So I also feel like some of the learnings out of Opus have gone into Sonnet 4.5. I don't know if they did any minor updates or anything like that, but I feel like in the last week, Sonnet 4.5 itself has gotten pretty good at a lot of these tasks, much more than, say, a month or two ago.
Interesting. That very well may be, right? They do minor updates in the background all the time.
Correct.
And looking at the numbers that they're publishing, they're saying that in most metrics, well, I mean, looking at this table, it's beating Gemini 3 Pro in all metrics. Yep. And one of the big parts of this announcement was it was actually a substantial price decrease from Opus 4.
Correct. Yes, that is one of the biggest, I think, when you talk about price performance, I think this one does pretty amazingly for its capabilities.
Yeah, $5 per million input and $25 per million output tokens. So 1/3 the cost of the previous generation Opus model.
Correct.
The other thing I wanted to highlight on the Opus side, so Anthropic, they had their blog post also 2 days ago about advanced tool use on the cloud development platform. And one of the things they have in here is that they give a tool search tool. And the idea is that you don't bring all your tools into your context at once. You bring in a tool that knows how to choose other tools. Yeah. Now, if you look closely at the launch post for 4.5, I'll put this back on the screen here, share this tab. If you look at the actual code, they're also showing in Bedrock using the tool search tool. So if you look in the sample code here, it's in there, but they're using tool search as well. Oh, there it is. Anthropic beta feature, tool search, and they're showing how you can now, everything that was talked about in this blog post is available both on native Claude or native Anthropic and on Bedrock right away. So that's pretty cool to see that coordinated feature parity. So you don't have providers that have underpowered versions of the model.
Correct. I'm just one thing that I wanted to add, because I have a personal opinion on this. After having used MCP so extensively and looking at tool use, I feel like that part of it needs a little bit of a reinvention. I think the concept was great. The current implementation is too bloated. And then having another redirection just to handle the complexity of having multiple tools and then creating even further distance from the LLM is probably going to backfire in a lot of cases. So I feel this space is ripe for something new. I don't like this pattern quite as much. I love the pattern that AWS had for their MCP server. Remember, we did a show where we walked through AWS's MCP server. There are 2 tools in there, and it does a great job of handling everything else under the hood. I like that pattern, but this one feels, I don't know, a little too bloated and too many levels of indirection for it to be great.
So I tried implementing a similar idea. So the idea is with AWS MCP, there's 2 tools. There's a what do I do, and then an execute tool. And inside, there's internal LLM usage of hand me back the name of the right tool and the parameters for the right tool for the job. And it kind of hides how many actual tool calls there are, because otherwise you'd have several 100,000 different functions you can call. And
Correct.
there's not a model in existence that could just have the token space to put all those tools in.
Correct.
That's why that exists.
Yeah. No, I get that. I just feel like this space needs to be rethought a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's almost like the animals that evolved to walk out of the water and then turned around and walked back in the water, and they had legs and they lost them. Okay, is this the right path? Or now we have mammals that hold their breath even though they're in the water. Like maybe that's one possible path, but maybe there's a more efficient way to swim in the water. So I think it's a similar idea. Maybe we're on an evolutionary wander along the tree, and maybe we'll move back in. We don't want to reinvent programming in a very expensive and inefficient way.
Correct. No, I think I agree with that.
All right, well, let's go over some of the other pre-invent announcements quickly, and then we've got a ton of sessions. So we're going to go pre-invent, and then we've got some sessions, and then we're going to close out the show with advice on if it's your first time or if you've been many, many times before. Let's check out the how do you make reInvent survive? You're going to be tired. You're probably going to get sick at the end of it, but at least how do you get the most out of it?
Perfect.
So with that, here, I'm going to switch to this one that I saw on Yan Kui. He's the serverless monk. And this is one he posted. Curious to see. This looks like it's gotten a lot of publicity, 16 comments, 46 reposts, lots of likes. This is IPv6 support for Lambda. Now, we were talking earlier in the show. You're saying this is not as big a deal as this is claiming to be.
So I don't know if it's a big deal or not. My reservation on this particular announcement is that in the real world, if you wanted to access a service from outside, you're on IPv4. It's not like the world has switched to IPv6 and you can start receiving traffic from the rest of the world in that form. So IPv4 is inevitable when you kind of are dealing with it. Now, a lot of internal AWS services can be natively IPv6, but again, they're internal. And I don't really know if there's any value in saying it's IPv6 or IPv4. They're internal. They're all free. The traffic is free. So I don't see why this should be a big deal. I'm still scratching my head about this announcement. Great that you have it. Definitely worth the simplicity. The fact that you don't have another piece of infrastructure is great. But when I think of it from an adoption standpoint, my customers are all on IPv4. So I need the NAT gateway in any case. I don't know how this helps me deliver content to my customers.
Well, and I guess that's the tricky part of IPv4 is that the whole thing has to switch over all at once. And
yes,
I guess this pushes the frontier out further. And I like the idea in principle of eliminating NAT gateways. And in CloudFix, we look for idle NAT gateways and get rid of those. So hopefully there's applications where this can help remove idle NAT gateways. But at the end of the day, most people are still on IPv4.
Correct.
Well, there is an announcement blog. They give a lot of discussion. It's talking about future-proofing your overall architecture. So again, it's not right away. Where you get to enjoy the benefits of this.
Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about getting out of IPv4 for well over a decade, maybe even 2 decades at this point. And I just don't see the urgency or the value in switching right away and changing a bunch of stuff.
Well, it's amazing how NAT is one of those things that's just good enough that we can keep kicking the can. We can keep freeing up IP addresses.
Correct.
It'll be okay for a while. It's not one of those Y2K problems where there's a hard stop and it has to be fixed. We can keep this going for a while. But it's neat to think that, okay, it does support both IPv4 and IPv6. You're right.
Yeah.
It is pretty fuzzy here. It says, looking at the recommendation, to gain benefits helps IPv4 exhaustion while providing cost savings and network clarification. But that's only if your NAT gateway is in the middle, not if it's at the edge, because then you have to talk to IPv4 only anyway.
Correct. Exactly.
All right.
And you usually don't use NAT gateways in the middle of things in any case. Or there are very few architectures where you would do that. You'd like to keep everything within one VPC and manage it there, right?
Yeah.
For
Well,
simplicity.
so I guess thinking about our rating system, I don't think we have time to go over for all of this, but this one I think is a neutral. I definitely think that particular article is a neutral, just because we don't know yet. But if you, maybe we don't know, well, we definitely don't know everything. So
Yeah,
if
I probably don't understand this well enough, is how I would put it. So if any of you have an opinion, particularly a strong opinion, and can articulate why this is awesome, and as Jan says, this is probably one of the most underrated announcements that has happened in pre-invent. I'd love to be educated about why.
Yeah, please write in the comments. Tell us why. Oh, I'll jump on a Zoom with you. This is interesting. So tell me your use case where this is a big deal for you. That would be really neat. Well, here's one that we know and we can understand. This is Kudos 5.7, the reInvent edition. We just had Yuri on the show for version 5.6. That was just a couple of weeks ago. So this is 5.7. This is good. It's showing idle WAF web ACLs. So this is good. We use the same type of idle detection mechanism. So 0 requests that looks idle. Get rid of idle resources. Looking at more trends analysis. Reserved instance and saving plans summary to eliminate unused commitment waste.
CloudTrail duplicates. Amazon QuickSight Suite enhancements.
Yeah, this is great. I like
just a whole bunch of new capabilities that have come in and dropped in here. That's
awesome. And I do want to do a plug for CloudFix. We work with them a lot. We've had duplicate CloudTrail detection, and you especially want to detect this because the first CloudTrail is free. So if you can get away with just the free one, then a duplicate, which is by nature redundant anyway, you get rid of that. You can almost have free CloudTrail.
Exactly.
Well, here is the dashboard. You can see this has been a very popular post, and Yuri's great. We've had him on the show many times. He's always anxious to share. So check out the Kudos version 5.7. Okay, next.
Awesome.
Okay, next one. Here's another one that I think is very relevant. This is multi-attribute GSI for DynamoDB. So no more building your own composite keys. If you've read Alex Debris' book, a big chunk about this is learning how these composite keys work to essentially put one model on top of another model.
Yeah, and I think this one for certain, for me at least, is a big deal. Like taking away the complexity of building out your composite keys and making sure that they are set up the right way, and then just doing it across multiple attributes. Typically, the way we're used to doing, compound indexes and things like that. I think this is great. This I would definitely give this simplifies and give it a 4. This was really easy to grasp, very easy to understand, and the implementation is also very straightforward.
And very obvious why it's needed.
Yes. I think this is a pain that all of us have faced. So I love this announcement.
Cool. Looking for the 5-star button. I've moved, or the 4-star button. I've moved around some of the my Stream Deck and everything to reconfigure that. So 4 clouds. That's pretty cool. DynamoDB. Okay, next pre-invent announcement I'll share. I like sharing the LinkedIn post as well as the Amazon announcement because it's fun to follow everyone at Amazon. It's a really neat part of the the culture on LinkedIn with Amazon is you can actually see all the teams behind this, and look,
Correct.
an acknowledgement of all the people who worked on this. So it's neat. You could see the people behind the scenes, and they're accessible. Okay, so
Yeah.
AI ML models powering cost anomaly detection. 2 new features. Let's see, for 2 new features.
Enhanced ML detection algorithms using rolling 24-hour windows. That's pretty neat. And then improved accuracy by accounting for workloads with different morning and evening usage patterns. Oh, that's interesting. So you don't just aggregate up to a day, but even intraday, if there are different patterns in the morning versus evenings, that means, let's say you were trading in the day and then the evening is calm, then you want to capture that for anomalies. So typically, you have seasonality and things like that got detected at a much larger time scale. Here, there's intraday detection, which is also pretty neat.
It looks like it's a lot faster now. Okay, removes the delay in anomaly detection
Correct.
caused by comparing incomplete calendar day costs against historical daily totals. Okay, so it's saying, okay, if it's just became 10 a.m., then you can compare 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., the 10 a.m. that just happened, to yesterday's 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. without having to wait for the clock to go around.
Correct.
Got it. This is great. Okay, so
I think this also simplifies. Then I'd give this a 4 to 4.5.
Yeah,
easily.
I mean, there's no extra cost, no extra complexity.
Correct.
Okay, let's see. I guess one of what you call the minor ones, but it's a good list, especially if you're in the serverless land. Here's a bunch of other pre-invent serverless announcements that are all aggregated here. S3 attribute-based access control, that could be helpful. Lambda at Python 3.14, Lambda Rust. There's a huge community about that was very happy about that, and there's actually a really neat Lambda Rust book that is in production as well. I think you can get a preprint copy on Gumroad. So
nice.
Check that out. There's lots of little things, but they are convenient for the people who use them a lot.
Awesome.
Okay, anything else in the pre-invent, or should we jump right into? Well, let's take a 1-minute break, and then we come back. We will check out the sessions that we want to talk about.
Sounds perfect.
Some tools just find AWS cost savings and make you do all the work. Visualizing cost opportunities is great, but that's not enough. CloudFix, on the other hand, actually delivers those savings for you. And you don't need to worry, because CloudFix fixers are AWS recommended and easy to use. It's the only tool that fixes cost savings opportunities and doesn't just find them. It's the easiest way to save money on AWS. It's all 100% automatic and risk-free. And the best part is that it works non-stop. See for yourself. Click on the button to get a free demonstration of CloudFix and stop overspending on.
Here we go. Here is a post from Matt Garman, CEO of AWS, who is referencing a Werner Vogel's post. This is about new tech predictions for 2026. And this is relevant because Werner Vogel's always gives a keynote at reInvent. So
Correct.
I'm guessing this is going to be along similar lines. I'll put this is on his website, All Things Distributed, where he blogs fairly regularly. It's a good post. It's talking about his thoughts on what AI and technology will bring in general. He's talking about how technology will make us less lonely. I like this one a lot. The dawn of the Renaissance developer. This generative AI reshapes how we build software. A familiar trope has reemerged. Developers will become obsolete, but that's not true. It's the dawn of the Renaissance developer. So I like that a lot. What do you think, Ro? Do you see that as being true so far?
I think we have to rethink what it means to be a developer, and come up with new ways of flexing our abilities to envision stuff and then turn it into reality. And I think AI is going to be an amazing companion for all of that stuff. I think it allows us to flex our developer muscles a lot better. I know that there's a lot of talk about vibe coders being able to come in and realize their visions. But I think if you have built developer muscles, you actually are at an advantage to leverage AI. If you don't, then I mean, that's a significant disadvantage. But if you can, I mean, AI is such an enabler. I have personally, at least quadrupled the number of real world projects that I've been able to work on, ship, and collaborate with, apart from all the other stuff that I've been doing. So it is really giving you that boost and that muscle that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Well, I really like the sentence here. Creativity, curiosity, and systems thinking have continued to define the craft. So you still need those fundamentals, but now you can use AI to enhance. Once you have a great plan, it's going to make it so much faster to implement.
Correct.
And if you put the work in to play with it, to experiment, to do projects, to see where it fails, to learn how to manage context, that's where you can really start to take off.
I'll actually give you an example of this. So on Friday, I happened to be in Abu Dhabi, and I went with my kids to the Louvre. That's in Abu Dhabi. They have an amazing 25-minute VR experience where they take you through they start with the Roman amphitheaters and the Parliament, and you are in Augustus's court, and you get to experience that with everyone else around you. It's an amazing space. It's like an open space. You can walk around, you can explore the court of Augustus, and then they take you to the library in Baghdad, right around the 10th century. And then from there you move on to what happens during the Mughal Empire in the early 16th century. And the experiences are so fascinating that I was like, if you could teach history, or if you could teach some of these subjects using VR the way I experienced it, it's a 25-minute long VR experience. So it's pretty neat. It's lengthy. It lets you experience things that you would not otherwise have experienced in a typical, VR setup that we see these days. It kind of really opened my mind to a lot of new ideas. So I literally went to the store, picked up a Meta Quest 3, and I am now using AI to figure out how I can build simple experiences that can teach our kids key, math or history or even language skills that would not have been possible otherwise.
That's really cool. And we're getting ever closer to the Star Trek holodeck, right?
Pretty much.
You want to say, and you see on Star Trek, right, especially Voyager, that's how they learn things, right? They say,
correct.
Let's sit down with Leonardo da Vinci and paint with him and talk with him about how he visualizes the world, right?
Right.
Getting close.
And it's incredible. Like, I knew nothing about VR. I've never built a game, a VR game, or even a game in 3D space before. But the way I'm now able to hook in all these tools into Unity, into Blender, into creating these virtual worlds, the AI is in the driver's seat, and I am just interacting with it to create the vision of what I want to happen. Absolutely fascinating.
That's really cool. I hope it goes. That sounds really fun. I'm sure that you have tons of time to devote to this. I want to see it when you have it.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see when I can get even a partially baked version out. I'll definitely share it with everyone.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that. Well, there's a lot more in the Werner blog post. I don't think we have time to go through the whole thing. I want to keep this episode. I think we'll come close to an hour, but yeah, there's a lot there. Check that out. If you are at reInvent, make sure to check his keynote. And also they live stream the keynotes, so you can watch it live. There's lots of good chatter on LinkedIn. And also we'll be talking about all about reInvent throughout that week. I'm going to be here from the command center, monitoring all the announcements, doing the post reInvent shows, and if you have time, jump in as well. So I think it'll be really nice.
Awesome. Do we want to talk about some of the interesting sessions and highlight some of the
Yes.
interesting sessions that folks should look forward to?
Yes, here we go. Steph Gooch and Andy Brown are doing COP 401 Advanced Analytics with the AWS Cost and Usage Report. If you are interested in knowing how much things cost and why, this is how to go to. And Steph is very talented at making Kerr queries on the spot, so it'll be fun to go see this. This is an interactive. This is a code talk, so you'll actually be able to have things like takeaways that you can actually execute, like queries you can execute. So make sure to go look at this one. Put another one on screen. This is Future of FinOps Intelligent Automation in the Age of Scale. This is with Judith Lerner. Now, what you want to do for all these things is get your AWS events app and put these all in the app, because that's going to help you gauge distance and how far apart these are, what building they are in. And you might not have reception to like look this up when you're in the middle of one of these giant casinos. So having it all set up ahead of time, if you haven't done that, now's the time.
Yeah.
This one looks really good as well. This is on first day. All right, this one is going to be cool. I'll put this on screen. This one is Ops in the AI Age with Nandini Ramani and Jeff Barr. That's pretty neat. This will be generative AI, agentic AI operations.
That's pretty neat.
So make sure to look up the talk numbers and have a look at their talk. Okay, there are some agent core sessions. There's actually a bunch of agent core sessions. And going on what we said earlier, there's going to be a lot about agent core that we're expecting. These ones look particularly good. This is a LinkedIn post by Chris Brannigan. He shared a bunch of good agent core sessions, building resilient agents at scale with agent core and temporal, deploying enterprise agents, reliable AI systems with Strands agents on AWS. To have a look at these, this looks like useful stuff, and I'm sure it's going to complement well what they are, the announcements that are coming out.
That's fantastic. I think that would be a really good segue to talk about what you should do at reInvent and how you should manage your time, organize your time, and things to watch out for, particularly if this is your first reInvent.
Oh, absolutely. Here, let me share one other one, and then we'll jump into that. Brooke Jameson, she is doing this is kind of cool. She's joining Deepak Singh and Brittany Doncaster. This is an innovation talk. So this will be hands-on coding demos. This is going to be a really good talk, based both from the builder perspective with Brooke and also the high-level perspective from Deepak and Brittany. So have a look at this one. I think that's going to be really nice. Okay, so how do you get the most out of reInvent? We have a blog post that we actually did 2 years ago. I think it's equally relevant now. But how do you? I'll put the link in the description. But there's a lot of good questions. We had Rohini Gankar from AWS talking about how all the things to do for have a successful first reInvent. What do you think is the most important? How would you distill it into a couple pieces of advice?
Yeah, so I think, as I've said before, it's all about the people. You can get a lot of the content, otherwise you can get it a little later, you can go back and look for it. But the fact that all the people at AWS and all of the other folks in the industry are going to be at reInvent, it's an amazing time to connect. Without a doubt, the folks at AWS are amazing. They are very, very friendly, and they are right there. You get to meet all these folks who you've only heard of or have read blog posts and notes from. You can actually walk up to them, speak to them. They are all incredibly excited to just as excited to speak to you about all the stuff that they've been doing. So take that opportunity to, one, figure out who the people are that you really want to connect with and build relationships with. Take the time to go and attend those. The sessions themselves might not be as important, but the people are. So build up those connections. For us who've been going to AWS for our reInvent for a while, it's the relationships. We keep renewing those friendships and those bonds, every time we visit reInvent. So that is really neat for me. But yeah, just the people is the biggest attraction of reInvent for me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You're going to miss a great party. You're going to miss 10 great parties. But that's okay because the one that you're at is also great. And you're going to be talking to really good people. So just enjoy, just have a plan, but then don't be afraid to change it.
Correct.
I think what you want to do, use their app, kind of put together a thing. But if you're getting stuck in a great conversation in a hallway, that's the stuff that you really take away. And
yes,
all the other talks, you'll be able to find them on YouTube fairly quickly after the event.
correct.
And then just don't underestimate how far apart things are. Even within the same hotel, they can be really far apart.
Correct.
And there's human traffic jams. So you have to take that factor into account. You won't be able to run as fast as you can because there's thousands of other people trying to make the same journey.
Exactly.
So prepare for
so
that.
I'd say wear comfortable clothing, good shoes, and stay hydrated throughout. And yeah, just have a good time. Interact with people, meet as many new folks as you can, build relationships, because that's what I think, that's the essence of reInvent.
Again, if you can't make it, I'm going to be here from the control room. I'll be posting on LinkedIn all week, try to jump in the live stream a couple of times, give my thoughts, and then we'll just give the best coverage we can from the AI perspective, from the FinOps perspective, how to save and how to leverage AWS and AI for getting things done.
Absolutely.
With that, I think we should wrap up the episode. Anything else to add on this one?
No, I think everyone's looking forward to the new announcements, starting with the first keynote, which is on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yes. Tuesday. There's nothing on Monday, I think. Monday is just flying in, getting started.
Correct. So Tuesday is the first major keynote. So we'll hear some of the big announcements on Monday. And then the second one's coming on Tuesday and then on Wednesday. And then Werner Vogel's keynote on Thursday is something also that I really look forward to because it addresses developers, how they should think about the world, how they should think about AWS. And there are tons of incredible gems of knowledge in there.
And of course, Swami Sivasubramaniam, he also gives a keynote.
Yes.
That will be mostly on the agentic AI, probably a lot of new features, case studies, other companies who've gotten kind of previews, how they've been able to put stuff into practice. All the keynotes are really good. And it gives you a good perspective on how all this stuff fits together.
Absolutely. Awesome.
All right. Well, until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.